welcome to this video. Come a little closer. I find it was a little far in the last video. Nice. So in this video, we're going to uncover the first tool on this channel, Pro Productivity Boost. And that tool is Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a free cross-platform code editor that runs on Mac OS, Linux, and Windows operating systems. With this thing, you cannot go wrong at all. Trust me. If you see yourself as an upcoming programmer, or you are already living that dream, doing work for clients, freelancing, in whatever way, Visual Studio Code has to be in your toolbox. And if it's not, this video, I'm gonna run through the installation process so that you can boost your productivity even when you install the application. So follow me as I go to the computer and run through the installation process. And I will get into a problem that I had because I didn't consider these two options while installing Visual Studio Code. So let's go. Okay, so now that we're on the machine, let's go to the website to download Visual Studio Code. So you can either Google Visual Studio Code or go to code.visualstudio.com. And then this beautiful blue box will pop up that is very context and OS specific. So if you're running on Linux or Mac OS, it will dynamically change to suit that. So let's go. I'm going to download it. And then it will take you to the documentation while download is happening at the bottom of your web browser, or whatever web browser that you use. It will be different. Now that it's finished, I'm going to run the installation. So at this point is where you have to be very, I don't want to say careful, but you want to consider well the way that you install. Because a lot of us will just click next, and just get to the application, right? So I'm going to select this as accept the agreement. It's a good idea to read it. We know how that goes. All right, so next. Also, when you are installing Visual Studio Code, you can choose to install it on the entire machine for all users. And if you're doing that, you have to select program files, but you will need administrative privileges to do such. In my case, I'm just going to apply Visual Studio Code to my current user profile, which I'm the administrator, but there's some benefits that comes with that. Let's just say you have an administrator account and sometimes you need passwords and all these different things to authenticate the installation. In this case, once you're installing it to the local user, what is going to happen? It will install without administrative privileges, and even as it relates to the updates that they ship out every month, it will happen in the background without being interrupted. Right, so let's go. I'm going to click next, and I'm also going to leave this as is so that it will pop up in the start menu folder, and I'm going to click next. So it's at this point that I was like, if I had paid attention. So what I used to do before is create a folder, create my index.html, CSS, and all my files, open Visual Studio Code separately, then open project or folder and navigate to that folder, then open it. And I mean, like, that's just a lot of work and a lot of time that is just being taken up. So at this point is what I would like you to consider when you're installing Visual Studio Code. So of course, you can select create a desktop icon. I don't use desktop icons because I find it clutters my system, but I will bypass this one. It's up to you. That is up to you to select that. These are the two options that I want you to consider when installing, because it will help to boost your productivity. And you know, that is why I am here. So add open with code action to Windows Explorer file context menu. I'm going to select that, and add open with code action to Windows Explorer directory context menu. And I'm going to select that also. This last one, it is automatically selected by default for you. Leave that enabled and I will show you why that is. You can use command prompt or you can use PowerShell, shell, to start Visual Studio Code. So these are the things that could help to boost your productivity. So I'm going to click next, next. So while it installs, a lot of people will time lapse this, but I just want to know, hey, how are you doing? You're good. I really hope family is doing well. I hope, you prospering. I hope things going good in your life. Don't give up, No matter where you're at, don't give up. Don't give up at all. It's important that you prosper. All right. So now that the installation is coming to an end, there we have it. It is completely installed on my machine. I'm not going to run it. I'm not going to launch the application. I'm just going to click finished. Nice. So now that Visual Studio is completely installed, I would like to illustrate to you the benefits of those two options in the installation that some people might just bypass. And it's important because even reading can help to boost your productivity. I guarantee you it will boost your productivity. So I went ahead and I created a folder in the folder called music, and the name of that folder is websites. So nice. Because of those two options, I can select within this folder and just click open with code. And the beautiful thing is it's going to open with code. So what it's going to do is going to pop up, right, this warning basically saying, do you trust the author? And I'm the author, so of course I trust myself. So I'm also going to check this box, trust this author of all files in the parent folder music. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to click yes. And as you can see, I am now in that folder in the Explore pane on Visual Studio Code. If I close it off, let's just create a file. So this is a text file called index.html.txt. Nice. So as I said, like if we select open with code, as you can see, that file would also be in this section. Nice. Similarly, you can select the file and just select open with code. So in this instance, you're not opening the folder structure, you're just simply editing the file within that folder. So no disruptions to the folder structure, just the file itself. Now the last option, which was the last checkbox in the installation process, what you can do, I'm going to open PowerShell or command line, I will show you both, in the text field in the browser address text box. So I'm going to type in PowerShell. So it opened for me. I'm now in that folder address and I type code, C-O-D-E space full stop. So what it's going to do is going to open Visual Studio Code with that folder in the left hand pane. Similarly, these are for people who love to use command lines. So if I type CMD and I do the same code space dot, as you can see, Visual Studio Code opens with my project ready to go. So that is it for today's video. I really hope it helped, even though it's just a simple installation. In the next video, we will go a little deeper as it relates to the extensions that you can install right after the installation process. Or it doesn't have to be exactly after. Sometimes over time you realize you need certain things. And also there is something that is very unique that you may not have known, but until that time, you will have to stay tuned. But I would just like to pinpoint this right here in the Get Started. There is this on the right hand side at the bottom, boost your productivity. And I mean, that's the name of the channel. Granted that you installed Visual Studio Code, you can select this, boost your productivity, and go through it and see how you can boost your productivity. Until then, I will also be getting into the details for you. But until then, your boy's out. Happy coding.